Shame is one of the most damaging and least talked about parts of ADHD. It doesn't usually arrive loudly. It builds slowly, quietly, over years of misunderstanding, correction, and unmet expectations. Many people with ADHD don't realize how much shame influences their behavior because it feels normal. It feels like motivation. It feels like accountability. But underneath, it's a constant internal pressure that shapes decisions, avoidance, burnout, and self-trust. If you've ever felt like you're always behind, not enough, or failing at basic things, this isn't a personal flaw. It's the result of repeated shame conditioning. Shame with ADHD often begins early. Many people grow up hearing feedback like "you're smart but not trying," "you're careless," or "why can't you just do this?" These messages may not be intended to hurt, but over time, they teach the brain a painful lesson. Effort doesn't guarantee approval. Mistakes become evidence of character flaws rather than part of learning. The ADHD brain internalizes this quickly because emotional responses are more intense and longer lasting. Each negative experience leaves a deeper imprint. Unlike guilt, which is about actions, shame is about identity. Guilt says I did something wrong. Shame says I am something wrong. ADHD shame often lives at the identity level. It's not just about missed deadlines or unfinished tasks. It's about believing you're unreliable, lazy, irresponsible, or broken. Once these beliefs take root, they quietly guide behavior without conscious awareness. This is where shame cycles form. A task comes up. The task carries emotional weight because it's linked to past failures or criticism. That emotional weight triggers stress. Stress reduces executive function. Reduced executive function makes the task harder to start or complete. When the task isn't done, shame increases. The brain then uses shame as motivation for the next task. The cycle repeats. At first, shame can look like it's helping. You might push yourself harder, overwork, or overcommit to compensate. This can lead to short-term success, which reinforces the idea that shame is necessary. But shame-based motivation is expensive. It burns energy fast and leaves little room for recovery. Over time, it leads to burnout, avoidance, and emotional exhaustion. One reason ADHD shame is so persistent is that it's often reinforced externally. Schools, workplaces, and social systems tend to reward consistency, punctuality, and linear productivity. ADHD brains don't operate that way. When someone struggles in these environments, feedback often focuses on effort rather than fit. This reinforces the idea that the problem is personal, not structural. Shame also becomes internalized through comparison. People with ADHD often compare themselves to others who seem to manage life effortlessly. Social media amplifies this. Seeing curated productivity, routines, and success stories can deepen feelings of inadequacy. The ADHD brain, already sensitive to emotional stimuli, absorbs these comparisons deeply. Shame grows quietly in the background. Another layer of ADHD shame comes from unpredictability. You might perform exceptionally well one day and struggle the next. This inconsistency confuses others and yourself. When you can't rely on steady output, self-trust erodes. You might start doubting your own intentions or abilities. Shame fills the gap where understanding should be. Shame also affects memory. ADHD brains tend to remember emotionally charged events more vividly. Past failures replay easily. Successes fade quickly. This creates a distorted self-narrative where mistakes feel defining and achievements feel accidental. Over time, this narrative becomes the lens through which new experiences are interpreted. One of the most painful effects of shame is avoidance. When tasks are tied to shame, approaching them feels risky. The nervous system anticipates emotional pain and pulls away. This avoidance isn't laziness, it's self-protection. Unfortunately, avoidance often leads to more shame, reinforcing the cycle. Shame also interferes with asking for help. Many people with ADHD hesitate to seek support because they fear judgment or confirmation of their inadequacy. This isolation increases stress and reduces access to resources that could help. Shame thrives in silence. Another way shame shows up is over-explaining or people-pleasing. You might feel compelled to justify yourself constantly or say yes to things you can't realistically manage. This behavior is an attempt to protect your image and avoid criticism. But it often leads to overextension and burnout, which then feeds more shame. Breaking shame cycles requires recognizing them first. Many people mistake shame for responsibility or discipline. They believe that without shame, they'll become careless or unmotivated. But shame doesn't create sustainable motivation. It creates fear-based compliance. ADHD brains don't thrive under fear. They thrive under safety. Safety is the antidote to shame. When the nervous system feels safe, executive function improves, focus increases, emotional regulation stabilizes. This doesn't mean removing accountability. It means changing the emotional tone of accountability. Supportive accountability invites engagement. Shame-based accountability triggers freeze or avoidance. One powerful shift is separating behavior from identity. Missing a deadline doesn't mean you're unreliable. Struggling with consistency doesn't mean you're lazy. These are descriptions of nervous system challenges, not character flaws. Reframing experiences this way reduces emotional load and creates space for problem solving. Another important step is noticing shame language in your inner dialogue. Phrases like, "I always mess this up," "What's wrong with me?" or "I should be better by now" signal shame activation, replacing them with neutral observations. "This is hard today," or "I need support here," changes how the brain responds. Shame also decreases when expectations are realistic. ADHD brains often operate in cycles of high capacity and low capacity. Planning as if capacity is always high sets you up for shame when it drops. Flexible planning acknowledges variability without judgment. This protects self-trust. Self-trust is one of the biggest casualties of ADHD shame. When you don't trust yourself to follow through, every commitment feels risky. You might avoid planning altogether or overcompensate with rigid systems. Rebuilding self-trust involves creating experiences of success that are small, achievable, and safe. Each success weakens shame's grip. Community also plays a role. Being around people who understand ADHD reduces shame dramatically. When experiences are normalized, the sense of personal failure diminishes. This is why psychoeducation is so powerful. Understanding the why behind struggles replaces shame with clarity. It's also important to recognize that shame isn't your fault. It's learned, and what's learned can be unlearned. This process takes time, patience, and repetition. Shame doesn't disappear overnight, but it loses power when it's named and challenged. Letting go of shame doesn't mean lowering standards or giving up on growth. It means choosing growth that doesn't come at the cost of your well-being. Sustainable change happens when effort feels supported, not punished. ADHD brains respond to encouragement far better than criticism. Shame often resurfaces during stress, burnout, or setbacks. This doesn't mean you're regressing. It means your system is under strain. Responding with compassion instead of self-attack shortens recovery time. Each time you interrupt the shame cycle, you weaken it. Understanding ADHD shame changes how you relate to yourself. Instead of seeing struggles as evidence of failure, you begin to see them as signals for support. This shift doesn't make life perfect, but it makes it manageable. It restores dignity and agency. Inside Dopaloop Pro, we talk openly about ADHD shame and how it shapes behavior. We focus on tools and explanations that help reduce self-criticism and rebuild trust with your brain. If you want support that helps you step out of shame cycles without pressure or judgment, you'll find the link in the description.